Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to solve a mystery that unfolds right above our heads pretty much every single night, the ever-changing face of the moon. Let's jump right in.
Of course you have, right? Some nights it's this brilliant full circle. Other times it's just a tiny little sliver, and then poof. Sometimes it feels like it's gone completely. But is it really changing its shape? Well, that's the big question we're going to answer right now.
So here's the secret. The moon's phases aren't really about the moon itself changing. It all comes down to two really simple things: light and orbit. Seriously, once you get these two ideas, the whole thing just clicks into place.
Okay, so first thing you have to know, and this is absolutely crucial, the moon is not a giant lamp in the sky. It's not a star. It doesn't have any kind of internal light source. So when you see it glowing up there, you're actually seeing something else entirely.
That's the key right there. The moon is basically a gigantic, dusty mirror just hanging out in space. That beautiful glow we see is just secondhand sunlight, bouncing off its surface and zipping all the way down to our eyes.
And here's where it all comes together. As the moon is making its constant circle around our planet, our viewing angle, our perspective of that sunlit surface is always changing. The phases that we see, that's just us getting a different peek at the moon's daytime side as it goes by.
So how long does this whole celestial dance take? About 29.5 days. That's the length of one complete lunar cycle, from one new moon all the way around to the next. So come on, let's take a tour through that cycle. We'll kick off our journey when the moon appears to be growing in the sky. This is what we call the waxing journey, as it builds from total darkness all the way up to full illumination. You're going to want to remember this term, waxing. When you hear that the moon is waxing, it just means that the little sliver of light we can see from Earth is getting a little bit bigger every single night. Every single lunar cycle kicks off from the exact same starting point, a phase that we call the new moon. But what does that really mean?
Okay, so during the new moon, picture this. The moon is positioned right between us and the sun. So the side that's getting lit up by the sun, it's facing completely away from us. The side facing Earth is in total shadow, which is why it just kind of blends in with the dark sky. It's still up there, of course, just hiding in plain sight.
Then, just a few days after the new moon, as it continues on its orbit, we finally start to see a tiny sliver of that sunlit side peeking out, and that beautiful, delicate little arc of light is the waxing crescent. About a week into the cycle, the moon has traveled a quarter of the way through its orbit around us. Now this part can be a little confusing because from our perspective down here, we see what looks like a half moon. But because it's 1/4 of the way through its journey, we call this the first quarter moon. As it keeps on waxing, the illuminated part grows past that halfway point. This phase, when it's more than half lit but not quite full yet, is called waxing gibbous. You can almost feel the anticipation building for the main event. And that brings us to the peak of the cycle. Now we're going to switch gears, moving from the journey of growth to the journey of shrinking, and we're going to start with the brightest phase of them all.
This is the phase everyone knows and loves, the full moon. It's the midpoint of the cycle, when the moon shows up as a complete, brilliant circle in the sky. It's a real showstopper.
So now our whole alignment has completely flipped from the new moon. Now the Earth is sitting right between the sun and the moon. This means the entire face of the moon that's pointing towards us is catching all of the sun's rays, and that's what gives us that spectacular view.
Okay, so after we hit that peak, the journey starts to go in reverse. The moon begins to wane. And if waxing means to grow, well, you guessed it, waning means to shrink. The visible portion of light will now get smaller each night. Right after the full moon, a little sliver of darkness starts to creep back onto its edge. It's still mostly lit, but it's now officially on the decline. This is the waning gibbous phase. Now, about a week after the full moon, we hit another half-moon phase, called the third quarter. And this is so cool because it really shows you how the cycle works. During the first quarter, the right side was lit as it was getting bigger. Now, during the third quarter, the left side is lit as it's getting smaller. They are perfect mirror images of each other. In the final days of the cycle, the moon is down to a thin, beautiful crescent once again, but this time it's the waning crescent, and it acts as a signal that the end of one cycle is here and the next new moon is just around the corner. So, we've completed the whole tour, but why does any of this actually matter? It's a beautiful show up in the sky for sure, but it turns out these phases have some very real and very powerful effects on our planet. So here it is, the entire cycle in one continuous loop. It's this predictable, reliable rhythm, from dark
to light, and all the way back to dark again, every single 29.5 days.
And you know, this clockwork precision is why the moon is so much more than just a pretty sight. Its gravitational pull is what literally pulls our oceans into high and low tides. For millennia, before we had digital calendars, this was the calendar. Its phases governed how much light there was at night for sailors. It told farmers when to plant, and it became the foundation for countless cultural traditions. It's not just a rock in the sky. It's the original cosmic clock for life here on Earth.
So, understanding the phases isn't just about astronomy, it's about understanding a fundamental rhythm of our world. The next time you glance up at the moon, you won't just see a shape, you'll know exactly where it is in its grand cosmic cycle. The only question is, what phase will it be tonight?